much longer he could bear to watch. But it was essential for him to be at this gathering. The host, Mr. Lowenkrant, was a rum maker, and Owen Arthur had always shipped rum. But with Americanness would come prohibition, and Owen Arthur needed to ensure he was included in any of Lowenkrant's non-liquor endeavors. He pressed his own earlobe between his thumb and forefinger. Success and solvency should have been on his mind, but Owen Arthur couldn't help but watch the American girl with a father's tenderness. This little girl was pale-faced and blonde, and Owen's little girl, Iona, was honey-skinned and ocean-haired. But still he looked at the strange little girl as though looking at his own child. The first half of him desired that he had created this little girl. She was a pretty yellow thing. The lower half of him desired the girl. How young could she be? He put his mouth to the glass and tilted it until the warm sweetness met his lips. She will outlive me, he thought to himself. And who was the she he was referring to? Perhaps his wife, who was just then sitting at home doing the sewing that it seemed God had created her to do. Or perhaps he was speaking of his mistress, who was at that moment sitting in her home playing the piano he had bought her, making a music that only God or the devil could bless. Or perhaps he was actually speaking of his daughter, whom he loved like he loved his own skin. Perhaps he was speaking of the little girl to whom the scientist was now attaching cords of metal. Perhaps the little girl was, in a way, all women to him, as all women might be to a certain kind of man. Owen Arthur is right. All these she's will outlive him, though he cannot bear the thought of his women going on. He knows his daughter will live forever, in the way all parents do, simply because parents generally die first. But Owen will not die of old age. Owen will die of love. The Danish West Indies will become the United States Virgin Islands, and then this patriarch will die. And perhaps these things are the same thing. Behold, the American is saying in his strange accent. He hands the girl a glass ball and then he whispers to her, "Do not drop it or I will punish you." She doesn't make a move to suggest she has heard. She only takes the glass ball in both her hands. And then the first miracle happens. Her hair begins to rise. The storm outside begins to howl. Christ have mercy. This is what the Christians whisper. The Jewish and Muslim men, for whom these islands have been a refuge, mutter, "Oi Gadnu," and Allahu Akbar, under their breaths, respectfully. Yes, America will bring us progress. Here is progress before us. Lightning claws through the window as though hunting, and Owen Arthur watches the girl's hair rise toward the ceiling until it is sticking up like so many angel horns. Oh, the stories these men will tell of this night. How they will embellish one part, shrink the other. How they will make this night real again and again, some in Arabic or Danish or Yiddish or English, others in that Caribbean language that tourist guidebooks will call Creole. The story will become more real than the night itself, because the story of it will last, while this wet night will soon be over. And here we are putting it down, so that it may last forever. But Owen Arthur thinks on his firstborn, his only child, thus far, who has survived.